the only side that targets civilians is Iran.
If the U.S. purposefully targeted civilians, which they were, most of these were, then I personally want to make it my goal to leave the U.S. But the U.S., you know, we don't mess with civilians. We don't attack civilians. Who does this affect? Trump? Hegseth? Who does this affect? Everybody in that city, millions of people are going to be affected by this. Switzerland, the Swiss, condemns the U.S.-Israeli assault on Iran. This is Tel Aviv. They're really getting hammered, and it makes sense why they don't want videos to get out.
From their own mouth, that Tel Aviv now looks like Gaza.
Oh, what happened to the Iron Dome, y'all? The Iron Dome got an iron deficiency.
President Trump has not ruled out boots on the ground in Iran. Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
So I'm going to play this clip, and I want you guys just to read the facial expression, read the body language, because in my opinion, if you have discernment, you can really tell these two people. This is Pete Hegseth, I think it's the Secretary of War, something like that. They changed the name, I guess, and then Donald Trump himself.
Did the United States bomb a girls' elementary school in southern Iran on the first day of the war and kill 175 people?
In my opinion, based on what I've seen, that was done by Iran.
Is that true, Mr. Hegseth? It was Iran who did that?
We're certainly investigating.
Still
But
investigating?
the only side that targets civilians is Iran.
We think it was done. We think it was done by Iran
Can you give us an
because
idea
they're
of
very inaccurate, as you know, with their munitions. They have no accuracy whatsoever. It was done by Iran.
Yeah, you know, I think it's very clear that these people are lying. They're full of crap. And so I want to start the video with that clip because I believe the U.S. and Israel together, which is basically one entity because Israel controls the U.S., so the United States of Israel essentially combined, the United States and Israel, they are the biggest bullies of the world. They're literally playing victim and making Iran look like the biggest and baddest bully in the world when they are the ones that are the worst. They started the war. They started it. And they're going to blame these things on Iran. Yeah, I'm not saying Iran's perfect. No. But if you're going to start a war and then literally lie about mass casualties, I believe there's enough evidence to say it wasn't Iran who did it. If they are truly responsible for this and it's proven without a shadow of a doubt, which I believe is very clear, which we're going to go over this tweet really quick. But I just want to state that if the U.S. purposefully targeted civilians, which they were, most of these were kids, then I personally want to make it my goal to leave the U.S. I'll probably keep my citizenship, you know, be a dual citizen, but I don't want to be supporting the U.S. by just remaining here and investing in this country and giving most of my tax dollars to this country if this is completely true, because this is sick. It makes my blood boil just to think about the U.S. purposefully. And I believe they did. What does this say? Reuters confirmed that the elementary school in the Iranian city, and I'm just reporting the news, YouTube algorithm, so you don't flag this. Just reporting the news here because the YouTube algorithm will flag stuff like this. That's pretty, you know, serious, such as this. But this is literally what the U.S. is supporting, in my opinion. However you pronounce that, confirmed that the elementary school in the Iranian city of Manab was bombed twice by the U.S. military, 40 minutes apart. So Reuters confirmed this. I don't know how they confirmed it, but they're saying they confirmed it. This was, if you guys have any other information that can further confirm this, if you can verify if this is completely true what Reuters is saying, let me know in the comments. This was intentional. You don't accidentally bomb a school 2 times. 168 children and 14 teachers were killed. It was a massacre. The primary school targeted in the attacks bombed twice, 40 minutes apart in Iran. And from my understanding, Reuters is a pretty valid source that you can trust for information such as this. I mean, what else can we say about that? War criminals. Bibi is a known and wanted war criminal. Actually, factually. And I actually think Trump is just as guilty. What people think terrorists look like, how terrorists actually look like. Pretty much, y'all. It's all propaganda. We've been taught since we were children on the news cycles. All the terrorists, they're all over there in the Middle East. All of them. And, North Korea is one of the worst countries in the world. Russia and the Middle Eastern countries. China's focused on controlling the world. And, you got to watch out for China. They're the bad guys. Meanwhile, the U.S. and Israel are literally attacking civilians. And they're saying that they're not. I'm going to state that as a fact because I'm very confident they are, and I believe there's enough evidence to say so. Even though they're denying it, they are liars. Why would you trust them? That's what they do. They lie. And I'm going to scroll to this meme really quick because I can't put it on the screen for too long. So read it really quick. It's so truthful, but I can't put it on the screen for too long because YouTube and all that. So look at this. You can pause it. I mean, essentially, right? Essentially, you can rewind that and pause it if you want. Stop war on Iran now. I mean, it doesn't even matter if you disagree with these people's religion, whatever. I disagree with Islam. But attacking civilians, that's a no-no. That is a huge crime. Going against the principles of Christianity. And our government, the U.S. government, claims to be Christian, have a faith office, which I went over in my last video. But they're going to lie to your face and attack civilians. And I actually have proof, not just with the school, but with what they done with the oil refinery, desalination plant. They attacked that, and it's affecting the whole city of Tehran. I think over 9 million people. It's crazy what they're doing. Another meme, Hegseth's tough guy salad recipe, merciless. Death and destruction, destroy, control, bomb, annihilate, bomb, crush, devastatingly, war fighters, firepower, Operation Epic Fury. Punching them while they're down. And yes, this is a very good description of what they're doing to Tehran. And some people may say, well, Iran attacked Tel Aviv and they bomb and missile Tel Aviv. Well, they were provoked. They weren't the first ones to attack. They're not the people who started the war, right? So it all goes back to that. Who started it? There's a phrase I used to hear when I grew up in school. And the phrase was, if you don't start nothing, there won't be nothing. If you don't start nothing, there won't be nothing. Talking about starting fights and all that. So somebody starts scrapping and they get beat up. That's where the phrase applies. If you didn't start anything, there won't be nothing. And that's essentially what is happening. The U.S. and Israel started it, and now they're crying. Oh, Iran's breaking international law. I don't have the meme of that or like a documented thing about that, but I've seen it previously. I believe it was Bibi who said Iran's cluster missile is breaking international law when he's a literal wanted war criminal and attacked school and bombed the oil refinery. The kid school hit by a U.S. strike killing 165 was marked on a Pentagon strike map. The map shown by U.S. Secretary of Defense Hegseth indicates the school was listed as a target. The attack was deliberate.
About the reported strike on a girls' school in southern Iran on Saturday.
All I can say is that we're investigating that. We, of course, never target civilian targets, but we're taking a look and investigating that. Red tie in front.
Just on the basis that with the information you would have, your reconnaissance abilities, ability to gather information, I mean, it's several days on now. So is there any clarity on whose munition this was?
We're investigating it.
You can tell he doesn't care. Oh, we're investigating it. Many days to look into it, we're investigating it. And this is the apparent map, the Pentagon strike map right here. They're blaming it on Iran. How sick. And then you have this video by Ethan Levine.
Breaking news, America has admitted that they were the ones that bombed the elementary school.
Have they admitted it though? Because Trump and Hegseth have denied it. So I don't think they've admitted it, but anyways.
168. It wasn't Israel, it was us. And officials were held in a closed-door meeting and told the American Congress that it was actually us. An investigation is now going on. The attack hit the elementary school on the opening day, seeing 162 people no longer with us. Oh, you think this is that? This is actually a new elementary school in Iran that has been hit today. Seeing children scatter all over the place. Another elementary school. Our enemy is supposedly the government of Iran, and we're going to free the people. So what do these children, mainly girls, little girls, have to do with any of that? By the way, remember, these kids were hit on the opening airstrikes. There was no chaos, and we've had months to plan this. Meaning this was done 100% on purpose, and it was a planned strike. We have been lied to by our media, and guess what? If you look it up, all of the American media, ABC, NBC, they're literally funded by the government. Look that up.
I mean, if you think about it, what Trump was saying about Iran is not very accurate. I don't believe that's true. Iran has done very accurate strikes on specific targets, such as I think a radar. Took out $1 billion radar system, a U.S. radar system. They just hit the Dubai airport, and they've targeted specific buildings in Dubai and in other places as well. So I think they can be very accurate. So I doubt it's what they're saying, what Trump is saying. Oh, they're just inaccurate. The missile failed and went off course and just happened to hit one of their own schools of children. That doesn't make any sense to me. When the U.S. and Israel serve a god, because again, they're the same entity, and Israel serves the god Baal and Molech, which requires child sacrifice. So it would make sense. It would make sense that the people who worship this wicked, demonic, satanic god, this false idol, which is really Satan in disguise, essentially. What would make sense is that a sacrifice was required because we know that our government is into satanic stuff based on the files. That was huge news just recently, and now it's like the attention has been taken off of that because of the war. And so there's so much reason and motive for this war to have even started in the first place. Distraction, taking the eyes off what happened in the files. But we know the secret government behind the scenes is satanic. And what does a satanic god require? Human sacrifice. So it would all make sense, specifically of younger people. And I just want to show you a perfect video that describes who Bibi Netanyahu is. Watch this. It's really quick and funny. Baal. That's the satanic god that they worship and serve. Dark offering. Use what? This is a Yu-Gi-Oh card, basically. You gotta see that again. Yeah. Whoever made that, thank you. AI is good sometimes. So now it's time to review what is happening with this whole oil refinery explosion, because this is very just disgusting and cruel to not just the people in the Iranian military, but the civilians of Iran, which apparently the U.S. doesn't mess with, but it affects them, what they did. On August 6, 1945, an American atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. A black rain was created by the mushroom cloud of smoke, ash, and debris rose into the atmosphere. This radioactive black rain caused the gradual deaths of many innocent people in the following decades, particularly from leukemia and thyroid cancer. 80 years later today, following the American bombing of fuel storage facilities in Tehran, the city and its people are experiencing an acidic rain whose future consequences are unknown, and which may claim lives through suffering and disease in the years to come. Weren't we promised that there would never be another Hiroshima? I think it was promised, or at least that's what they said. So this wasn't a nuclear bomb, but I don't know. Based on what Bibi's saying, it sounds like that's what he wants to happen to Iran. Potentially, it sounds like he's hinting at nuking Iran, which I can't prove, but it may come down to that. If they continually keep on getting resistance and not really going forward and taking over Iran, they might just resort to that. I wouldn't doubt it. But they did destroy like an oil refinery, which is literally causing black rain, oil rain to fall on the whole city. Look at that. Somebody commented, America did this to Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, Egypt, Pakistan, Yemen, Somalia, Libya, Sudan, Laos, Panama, Cambodia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, Montenegro, Kosovo, and many other countries. This time the U.S. is unlawfully and cowardly bombing Iran. And so I think, over time, looking back into history, it's been a reoccurring cycle. You can see the pattern here. The U.S. combined with Israel, as I said earlier, as one entity, is the biggest bully in the world. And I don't like bullies, y'all. I have something huge against bullies. I don't like seeing people being taken advantage of, their weakness being taken advantage of. Nor does Christ. Nor does Christ. He said, the meek shall inherit the earth. Hallelujah. So I really dislike bullies. This is what the U.S. has been doing and continuing to do, and I don't like it as a U.S. citizen. So somebody said the weather conditions are real. Yeah, this is bad. This is bad for the people. There's like 9 million people in Tehran or more. Even Switzerland, they're like the most neutral country out of any country. Switzerland, y'all, they don't really talk or mess with anybody. Don't really have a position on too much. Switzerland, the Swiss, condemns the U.S.-Israeli assault on Iran. The United States, quote, the United States and Israel have broken international law with their attacks on Iran. I mean, Switzerland is making a statement. You know it's bad. You know it's bad. So look at what is happening, or what has happened.
I want to show you something because after those fires raged, there was actually rain here in Tehran this morning. And you can see here, because this is a white car, that the rain is actually apparently saturated with oil. You can see on my finger that it's completely blackened, and that's something that's been coming down for the better part of this morning. So of course that's also a concern for folks here in Tehran, that there's this rain that came down that seems to be saturated with oil.
But it's kind of hard or it's easiest to disconnect from this stuff. If you're in the U.S., none of this is affecting you because we're not affected by it. Like, we just go outside, it's a nice sunny day, we take it for granted. But the people in Tehran, this is what they're dealing with. Look at this, y'all. It looks like literal hell. But the U.S., we don't mess with civilians. We don't attack civilians. Who does this affect? Trump? Hegseth? Who does this affect? Everybody in that city. Millions of people are going to be affected by this negatively in Tehran. They're innocent. They're going to be affected by this. Just because you don't directly bomb somebody, like the bomb hits them and they're directly killed, or they get shot or whatever, just because it doesn't directly kill a civilian, this is still attacking civilians. Indirectly, but it's actually pretty direct. Just not like they don't die instantly, but it's still causing much health issues and potential death for civilians. And I'm sure they actually died from some of these attacks. Some civilians, I'm sure, have died from this attack. I'm pretty sure, y'all. Now look at this one. I like anybody near this explosion in the sewer system. I think this is the oil seeped into the sewer system and it's going to go into an explosion that looks pretty bad. Anybody near this has probably died or got severe 3rd-degree burns. It's not going to show it, YouTube algorithm, so just be aware of that YouTube algorithm because they don't like, we're not supposed to show people getting severely hurt or dying, but it's not going to show it. You can't tell. Yeah, that's crazy. See, after strikes on oil storage facilities, flames poured onto the road, fuel flooded into the sewer and drainage channels. The city's literally on fire. And the U.S. is like, oh, we're not going to attack. We don't attack civilians. That's what Iranians do. What do you call this? I mean, imagine you living in a city that this is happening in. How your daily life would be drastically affected. And this will probably affect your life expectancy, maybe knock down 5-10 years, maybe even more, depending on how bad the smoke and just the effects of the chemicals in the oil affect your health. in your lungs and all that. I mean, this looks like literal hell, y'all. What is going on? Exactly, the strike on the oil depot created huge smoke. That oil rained. The U.S. surely is not innocent, but they act like they are. I mean, I don't see how they can just lie straight up to your face like that and just be cool with it, you know? Oh, great meme right here. The Iranian regime is killing Iranian civilians. Make America great again, hat. That's why we have to kill Iranian civilians. Look, I laugh, but it's really bad. Sometimes you just gotta laugh at the chaos, though, because it's that stupid. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So you have to laugh to prevent from, I don't know, going crazy. And then, y'all, China is behind the scenes studying U.S. military and how we are doing things, how we're responding. And so, in my opinion, let me know what y'all think, but America is going to fall, and it's going to be because of America, because we put Israel first. And Israel hates our guts. America is going to fall like Rome has fallen. Like all the other major world superpowers, Greece, Rome, Babylon. What else we have? I mean, there's multiple world powers that have fallen. The British Empire has fallen. Roman, Babylonian, the Greeks. Persian, Persia, which is what Iran was. You know, that's part in the Bible too. They talked about the Persians in the Bible. It's where Iran is now. And I think America could potentially fall very soon. I'm not saying I want it, but I feel like they're bringing it on themselves because they're literally not putting America first. They're literally not putting their own country first, putting Israel first. And Israel, again, hates our guts. They're just using us right now, but once they're done using us, they're going to move on to whatever other nation they want to use. But China is studying the U.S. The U.S. attacks on Iran have become a veritable military intelligence laboratory for China. More than 300 Jilin-1 satellites are recording every detail, second by second. From munition refueling to missile trajectories, China is turning U.S. war doctrine into a database, including refueling times and air defense responses. According to experts, this data could give China a military research and development advantage that will last for decades. U.S. war tactics are being thoroughly analyzed. And this is dangerous, literally showing our hand to a very powerful nation, China. And I think they're very smart. They're just studying, sitting behind the scenes. They're just sitting back, studying behind the scenes, waiting to make their move. And when they're powerful enough and they have enough information, they can literally dominate the world, and maybe Israel would use them to be the next lapdog for their regime. I don't know how it's all going to work out. All I know is that America is like self-imploding, and it's very possible that we will fall and become like a third world country. Some would say we're already a third world country. Some would say that. Our infrastructure is awful. Let me put this on main screen really quick. I study this stuff, y'all. Like infrastructure, cities, technology advancements. Our infrastructure has not really changed since World War II era. You know, we don't have high-speed rail. Our cities are lacking. And I think a big indicator of our infrastructure is lacking is the lack of high-speed rail. Like, we don't even care about that in the U.S. for the most part. Our rail systems go like, it's considered high speed if it's like 80 miles an hour, which is nothing. You can double that for most of the countries overseas in Europe and Asia. They got very high speed rail that can go across, long distances. But we just destroyed all that. Everything is car based. Our cities is not nearly as advanced as they are in Asia. A lot of our bridges are falling apart. A lot of our cities, the buildings are old and have not been developed. We have major big cities that have no good public transport at all, which is a detriment to the citizens that live there. It forces them to have a car to get around anywhere, which can force somebody into poverty because the car is so expensive. You got to pay for the car, then the insurance, then the gas to operate it. But many major big cities do not have good public transport. And you will find this in most modern cities. If you check out Asia, like China, Japan, great public transport, even in Europe. But America is falling apart. just too old. We haven't built anything new. We haven't restored our infrastructure because we spend the money on a military budget to attack Iran and be a bully. And so our money is not being used to restore and to develop further America so we can keep up with times. We're being surpassed by other countries with our infrastructure. Look at China's infrastructure. It's light years beyond the US. But billions and trillions and billions and billions and trillions of dollars are going to the military to be a bully, to start wars unprovoked. We just want to start something. We want to start something. My dad always told me not to be the one who starts a fight. Never. Never do that. If somebody hits you, hit them back though. You know, you can defend yourself. That's what he told me. You can definitely defend yourself. Don't let somebody just take advantage of you like that. That's what my dad told me. Don't be the instigator. Don't start that. And it makes sense, especially for nations. Don't be the aggressor. You have the right to defend yourself, though. And Iran has the right to defend itself. So now we go back to IG. Israeli PM Netanyahu let out a laugh after Sean Hannity asked him whether Israel dragged President Trump into war with Iran. This is what we're dealing with.
That's ridiculous. Donald Trump is the strongest leader in the world.
You know, there are people that say, well, the prime minister of Israel dragged Donald Trump into it. And as somebody that's been friends with him over 30 years, nobody drags Donald Trump into anything, number one. But I want to get your reaction to that.
Well, you're right.
Well, you're right. Look at the gift somebody left. Satan Yahoo, laughing right in your face. That's his first reaction. You're right. So what else did this creep say? Benjamin Netanyahu announces he has a major surprise for Iran that will completely destabilize the country. Netanyahu is asking Iranians to lay down their weapons and surrender or face death. Wow. Netanyahu says the moment of truth is approaching and he will free Iran and make Iran and Israel allies. So what does this mean here? I'm really concerned what this means. Like, do they have some nukes over there? Are they going to use U.S. nukes? And somebody said, sounds like nuking. And this is not in English, by the way, what he's saying down here.
איראן תחזורנה להיות ידידות אמיצות. וביחס למה שנעשה בהמשך באיראן, יש לנו תוכנית סדורה עם הרבה הפתעות. לערער את המשטר, לאפשר שינוי. יש לנו עוד הרבה מטרות, ולא אפרט אותן כאן. אבל לפעילי משמרות המהפכה, אלה שרודים בעם האיראני ברחובות, אומר לכם רק זאת. גם אתם על הכוונת. מי שיניח את נשקו, לא יעונה לו כל רע. מי שלא יעשה זאת, דמו בראשו. ולעם האיראני אני אומר, אני מדבר איתכם ועבורכם כבר עשרות שנים. רגע האמת מתקרב, כי איננו מבקשים לחלק את איראן. אנחנו מבקשים...
Seems like a very dangerous threat he's giving to all of the Iranian people. Basically, if you don't surrender, all y'all gonna experience horrible death. That's what it seems like to me, y'all. I'm kind of like concerned about what does this mean? Potential nuking, but just the attack on the oil refinery alone is horrible. So maybe he made that speech before that attack. I don't know the timeline here, but that attack by itself is already horrible and is already affecting innocent Iranian civilians. So I don't know, like, was that before that attack or after? Is something else going to happen that's worse than that? I don't know. All I know is you can't put anything past these wicked people. And then you have Trump saying something completely ludicrous.
I'll tell you what, I have never had more compliments on something I did. People felt it's something that had to be done. So,
what people? What people? Talking about the war. The war is something that had to be done. People felt it's something that had to be done. What people? The elites, the billionaires, the billionaire class, Netanyahu, Israel.
We have a little high oil prices for a little while. But as soon as this ends, those prices are going to drop, I believe, lower than even before.
You believe? Well, I don't trust your beliefs, Trump. I don't trust. So the caption says, I hate this government so much now. Trump just said that if your cost of living goes up because he bombed Iran, It's worth it because Israel's safe. Play all the sound effects. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, y'all.
President Trump has not ruled out boots on the ground in Iran. Are you afraid of a U.S. invasion in your country?
No, we are waiting for them.
You are waiting for the U.S. military to invade the ground troops?
Yes, because we are confident that we can confront them, and that would be a big disaster for them.
That's cold, y'all. That's a cold response right there. I like that order right there. We are waiting for them. I mean, I do not want my U.S. troops to die. These are my people in the U.S., so I don't want anybody to think that. But it's like this nation is defending itself. We attack first. And I wish that U.S. troops would not get involved. But they signed up for the military and they are already involved. So it's a sad thing to even think about, like, to try and pick sides with this as somebody who's a U.S. citizen and see my people go to war and die. Like, U.S. troops have already died. And I was greatly saddened by that, but I don't even know how to explain it, y'all. But Iran is not the aggressor. That's the thing. So it's just a really messy situation that I hate. So now we go to Trump's True Social post. Iran, which is being beat to hell, has apologized and surrendered to its Middle East neighbors. That doesn't sound like they surrendered, because they actually did not surrender. What they did do was apologize for attacking their neighbors, but they did not surrender in the war. They said they would not attack, civilians if there's no U.S. intervention, basically. So if the country, let's just say the UAE, doesn't let the U.S. use them to attack Iran, then they will not mess with the UAE. But the thing is, all these countries surrounding Iran, the U.S. has bases in these countries. So the UAE, for example, United Arab Emirates, the U.S. has a base there. And because of that, Iran believes they get to attack the UAE because the UAE is collaborating with the U.S. to attack Iran. And that makes sense. If the U.S. is going to use other countries, have bases on other countries to attack Iran, well, Iran should be able to defend itself and attack whatever country the U.S. base is in. So that's essentially what they explained. Anyways, continuing, this promise was only made because of the relentless U.S. and Israeli attacks. They were looking to take over and rule the Middle East. I don't think that's what they're looking to do, y'all. I think that's what Israel is looking to do. It is the first time that Iran has ever lost in thousands of years to surrounding Middle Eastern countries. They have said, "Thank you, President Trump." I have said, "You're welcome." Iran is no longer the bully of the Middle East. They are instead the loser of the Middle East. You know who is the bully of the Middle East? Israel and the U.S., as we've already discussed. It will be for many decades until they surrender or more likely completely collapse. Today, Iran will be hit very hard, under serious consideration for complete destruction and certain death. Because of Iran's bad behavior, are areas and groups of people that were not considered for targeting up until this moment in time. What does that mean? Does that mean you are considering affecting civilians, President Trump? That's what it sounds like it means. But Hegseth was saying, "Oh, we don't attack civilians. That's only Iran." Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. And so what I believe is happening, y'all, it's actually verified that Israel is censoring the destruction that is happening over in Israel because I believe they don't want the world to see how much they're getting hit. They don't want the world to see any weakness in Israel because they've been getting hit pretty hard. They've been getting hammered kind of hard. And if I was Israel, I wouldn't want people to see that either. But I don't know, like they're saying, the U.S. is basically saying, Trump is basically saying, we've already won the war. We've already won it. United Kingdom, once our great ally, maybe the greatest of them all, is finally giving them serious thought to sending 2 aircraft carriers to the Middle East. That's okay, Prime Minister Starmer. We don't need them any longer, but we will remember, we don't need people that join wars after we've already won. President Donald J. Trump. So Trump is basically declaring that we've already won the war. Well, if we've already won, then why hasn't it ended yet? How long is this going to go on? Could be months, potentially years, just like Iraq. Check this out.
Israel is taking a bloody good hiding. But you don't know it. You don't know it for two reasons. First of all, anybody releasing a picture or video of the damage in Tel Aviv is immediately sentenced to 5 years in prison. And secondly, because the mass media, CNN, BBC, Sky News, have accepted Israeli censorship and are therefore not broadcasting the footage that they have taken over a Tel Aviv that now looks like Gaza. How do I know that? Because I've got friends in Tel Aviv. Sheinkin Street, Tel Aviv. Near Dizengoff Square, Tel Aviv. And they've been walking around, and it's they who tell me from their own mouth that Tel Aviv now looks like Gaza. How could it not? Because the air defenses over Tel Aviv are no longer operational.
Oh, what happened to the Iron Dome, y'all? The Iron Dome got an iron deficiency. That was kind of lame. That was kind of lame, but I saw that joke earlier. I could have done better, performing that joke. But I saw it written down somewhere. I'm like, that's excellent. It's kind of corny. It is. But yeah, the Iron Dome has received iron deficiency. Needs a supplement. So lame. Let me stop. I can't deliver certain jokes well. I just can't.
The Iranians are hitting at will with the most powerful ballistic missiles. 50 ballistic missiles hit Tel Aviv last evening alone.
Yeah, they've been getting hammered, y'all.
They're also lying to you about the number of American casualties, as one of my guests, I'm sure, will testify in just a few minutes. How can all these CIA bases, all these American embassies, all these foreign bases of the United States, how can they all have been hit and destroyed with only 4 dead Americans? I'm going to take a flyer, and it's this. There are approaching 1,000 dead Americans, and they can't be hidden forever. The stock markets are plunging, except the Israeli stock market. The only stock market in the whole world that went up on Monday and Tuesday was the Israeli stock market, but the rest in every country are circuit breaking, collapsing. And the Iranians have said not one drop of oil will leave the Persian Gulf. That all sounds like the apocalypse to me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, so this is if you want to check out his videos, Real Enlighten One. Yeah, and I think this is real. Some people have been sending AI stuff, but I think a lot of stuff is actually real bombings. And it's so, with AI coming out and looking so real in 2026, it's provided such confusing times because, what's AI, what's not? It's hard to tell these days. But I believe this one is real. Check this out. If that's real, and this is Tel Aviv, they're really getting hammered, and it makes sense why they don't want videos to get out, because they don't want their nation looking weak. Oh snap, it was right beside them. It looks like the cluster missile, which is impossible to defend against, because I think it starts off on one missile and then it breaks apart and becomes a cluster of missiles. How does the Iron Dome defend against that? That is wild. And honestly, I'm not too mad about this happening. Like, they're so wicked. I'm like, you see what they've done to Gaza. Completely flattened Gaza. So many people are actually rooting. They're not even Islamists. But you'll see this on social media. Instagram, X. You'll see a lot of U.S. citizens saying, more, continue doing this. Because of how evil this nation is. And it's like they know what they've done to Gaza. They flattened Gaza. And now essentially they're getting a taste of their own medicine. So a lot of people are like, they're not mad about it. It actually excites a lot of people when this is happening in Tel Aviv. And it could be a lot worse.
Mr. Foreign Minister, if you're not attacking your neighbors, why did the Iranian president apologize?
Well, first of all, apology in our culture is a sign of dignity and strength. Secondly, he apologized from the peoples of the region for the inconveniences they have faced because of this aggression by the United States and retaliation by us. So as a matter of fact, it is in fact the President of the United States who should apologize from the people of the region and Iranian people for the killings and destructions they have done.
Do y'all think Donald Trump would apologize? I think he's too arrogant for that. And even if he does, he's just doing it to save face. And then you have a missile striking Tel Aviv during a broadcast live. And all the news stations, everybody, the citizens in Tel Aviv and the news stations especially, are told not to film this or not to spread more strikes happening in Israel. But this was happening live, and it's just kind of ironic.
And the Israelis, I think that's what the calculation now is. Regime preservation. Could you get a more pragmatic figure presiding over this regime? Sure.
Aaron, I just want to break in for a moment because we're looking at live pictures in the air over Tel Aviv, and obviously, as many people know or maybe don't know, there is an Iron Dome that Israel uses as its missile defense system, and we're seeing it working now. But in some places and instances, it does not work, and I believe this is one missile feasibly that has broken through the Iron Dome.
You think? But yeah, y'all, America's compromised. I just want to show one video just encapsulating this. America is compromised. Look at our president doing some kind of ritual that has nothing to do with American ideals, American culture, nothing to do with Christianity. And I mean, I know what he's doing. Shabbat is a Jewish movement that believes all Gentiles should be enslaved. I mean, this is a picture of what Israel has done to the U.S. Ultimate control. Like, they're slaves, essentially. So it's saying that Trump prayed at the grave of Chabad Lubavitch, Rebbe Schneerson in Brooklyn. AIPAC, which is the Israel lobby, apparently gave Trump $230 million. Independent expenditures, campaign contributions received from pro-Israel interest groups. So I wonder why. There might be a reason. There might be one reason why he's serving Israel like he is and just doing whatever Bibi Netanyahu wants him to do, like going to war with Iran. That might be a good reason why. Because they have leverage. They have monetary leverage, and I believe they also have leverage with the files. Hilarious. Teflon Don.
The current non-Jewish Messiah was chosen to be of service to the Jewish people and the Jewish Messiah. President Trump's right ear was grazed in a symbolic gesture of Exodus 21:6, where the Torah states that a servant who wants to remain with his master needs to have his right ear pierced. Trump was designated as God's servant and anointed one, just like Cyrus the Great almost 2,400 years ago. We have clarified in several videos that the absolute deadline for the redemption is by the end of the Jewish year 5787, which corresponds to October 2nd, 2027, 1,167 days from today. Thus,
Yeah, so that's pretty creepy. Apparently, some, I guess, rabbis believe that Trump has something to do with their prophecy. It's supposed to be their Cyrus or whatever. So what's going to happen in 2027? I'm very concerned, actually. What they're trying to accomplish by then, I don't know, but it's not looking good. And it's not just President Trump. I want to make that known. It's not like, oh, I just hate President Trump so much. This has been the thing with every president. Clinton, the Bushes, Obama, and Trump. Doesn't matter right versus left, Republican, Democrat. It's been the same thing. We'll go ahead and end this video there. Thank you all for watching. If you want to donate to the channel, because it's not guaranteed my videos will get monetized, I'm going to put donation links in the description as well as in the pinned comments. You have to scroll down in the pinned comment though, because I put the gospel first. So you have to scroll down. If you want to donate, their links are there. It will greatly help because one day I want to do this full time. And so I'm saving up, a lump sum of money to be able to have a window to where I don't have to work my 9-to-5 job and can just focus on YouTube full time. So greatly appreciate any donations are welcome. Thank you. May the Lord keep you. May he bless you. May he shine his face upon you always and give you peace. Believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and you shall be saved.